Alright, Trickers and Trekkers, time for the second episode of Review of the Day with In Theory. Data, an android, and Jenna Desora are in the torpedo room configuring several probes with which the Enterprise will explore a nearby nebula. Desora explains that she just split up with her boyfriend, and Data attempts to comfort her. Later they play together in a chamber concert along with Keiko O'Brien. Desora complains of her abilities as a musician, but Data insists that he could not hear anything wrong. Later on the bridge, Data is reviewing the information from the probe sent into the nebula. He theorizes that life might have evolved differently in the nebula because of the volume of dark matter detected. Captain Jean-Luc Picard orders the ship to the nearest planet within the nebula. Data and Desora configure further probes when she kisses him on the cheek and then the lips before leaving the room. Data seeks the opinion of his friends, including Picard, Guinan, Geordi LaForge, Commander William Riker, Deanna Troi, and Worf. Data decides to pursue the relationship and goes to Desora's cabin with a bunch of flowers. He informs her that he created a romantic subroutine for the relationship. Okay. Meanwhile, the Enterprise is approaching the planet. Picard enters his ready room and finds his belongings scattered on the floor. He calls in Worf, who can explain their displacement. Desora arrives at Data's cabin where he is painting. She tells him to continue, but is then annoyed when he does so, causing him some confusion. The ship arrives at the coordinates for the planet but finds nothing there. Then it suddenly appears that the ship's computer warns of a depressurization in the observation lounge. The crew investigate and find all the furniture piled in one corner of the room. Data is visiting Desora, but she seems unhappy when he's acting erratically in order to find an appropriate response to make her happy. It becomes evident to the crew that the nebula is causing distortions in space. Picard orders the ship to warp to leave the nebula as quickly as possible, and this speeds up the distortions. Whilst investigating them, Lieutenant Van Mater is killed when a distortion embeds her into the deck. Data discovers that the dark matter is causing the distortions. The ship can detect the pockets at short range, but not enough time to move out of the way. Worf proposes using a shuttle to lead the Enterprise out, but Picard insists on piloting it alone. Picard pilots the shuttlecraft through the field of distortion pockets. Chief Miles O'Brien transports the captain back to the ship before the shuttle is destroyed. The approach resulted in the Enterprise nearing the edge of the nebula, and they quickly depart. Afterwards, Desora reveals to Data over a romantic dinner in his quarters that she broke up with her boyfriend because he was emotionally unavailable and then pursued him because he was the same. Data realizes that she's breaking up with him and explains that he will delete the subroutine. Desora departs and Data blows out the candles, seemingly unperturbed. Huh, that's kind of weird, but okay then. Somebody looks at some production notes here. In Theory marked the directorial debut of cast member Patrick Stewart. Stewart sought the advice of fellow cast member Jonathan Frakes prior to filming, as Frakes had already directed 3 episodes of The Next Generation, making Stewart the second cast member to do so. Frakes thought that Stewart did a good job, saying that, quote, he was fabulous and took to it beautifully. The story was written by Joe Menosky and Ronald D. Moore, who were the show's 2 executive story editors during Season 4. The guest stars included Michelle Scarabelli, who had previously appeared as Susan on Alien Nation. Pamela Winslow appeared as Ensign McKnight, who had previously been referred to in the episode Clues, but not seen on screen. Huh, that's kind of interesting. So overall, I think this is a pretty darn good story, and yeah, the whole thing with Data and that emotional subroutine, that was kind of weird, but yeah, it's Star Trek. What you gonna do? So overall, I give, In Theory, 3 warp cores out of 5. Well, join me soon for the final episode of Season 4, as well as the beginning of Season 5, with Redemption. So, until then, live long and prosper, everybody.